questions. We have a lot of UX team placed here. So earlier there was a buzz around UX kind of stuff. 2-3 years back. Now design thinking is a new keyword that people are talking about. So what's the difference between the two? Is it the same thing or what's the difference? If you can add more insights from that point of view, that would be great.
First foremost to all of you, these buzzwords are created by some interesting people to achieve mileage. So don't get trapped into these buzzwords. First foremost, design process or design thinking is a process to look at things or to create approaches for design or create approaches for innovation or create approaches for invention or discovery. So design thinking is a larger umbrella within which one component is, let's say, user experience, customer experience or user interfaces, which is again one component in it. On top of it, above design thinking is something called as systems thinking. And that systems thinking essentially would mean people, products, and as a large system, how do they interact? In a world, unfortunately, what happened with the user interface or user experience design was that they were only looking at the user and the product. They were not looking at user and several other users, combination of users together or in hierarchy, and several products and services combining to offer probably a day in our life. The moment you put this in perspective, you get to see very many humongous opportunities for design or thinking for that. Let's keep design away, because design is a misnomer, it's a problem. Because design people think that it is color and graphics and stuff like this. No. So we'll keep that aside. But this systemic way of looking at things gives you phenomenal approaches to look at complexity, looking at opportunities for innovation, problem solving, if all it is problem solving. And I always tell people, don't look at correction. Correction is unfortunately the way the world is looking at things. We should look at creating, let's say if I were to brief a user experience team, I would tell them that what is the relationship between a product and the consumer or the user. You first define the relationship. Don't define what the product is. Don't define who this fellow is. First define the relationship. I'll give you a very simple example. The relationship between a driver and the car is far more interesting than the car alone or the driver alone. The moment we understand this relationship, in design thinking parlance, it is called as structure. Mother and the child, the mother is only a mother when she has a child. And this is the relationship to be understood. Otherwise, she is a female and this is a boy or a girl. The moment you bring mother in between, or you get the structure, like let's say a car seat driver or an owner and a car have a loving relationship. The moment you have love in between, the whole dynamics change. Then you're not looking at a car as an instrument. You're looking at a car as an emotional attachment. And it's not anymore a device to commute.
Interesting.
So these are the ways that systems thinking, design thinking is a subset of systems thinking, allows you to look at opportunities for innovation. And that's my only submission to you guys, that don't look at object and the person. Look at the relationship, the structure between these two things. And if you keep adding relationships, you will find it so beautiful and so exciting to solve or to create and not correct. अभी क्या होता है कि अरे this thing is taking too much time, let's correct the software or the logic or the button or the interface, or it is getting missed out. You are looking at this relationship, you're not even looking at the relationship, you are looking at only tactics to improve. I have bought this device with this user interface to achieve something beautiful in my life. The moment you put this in, your whole approach towards looking at that object changes.
Absolutely.
I always say so that the more you have in terms of approaches, the more opportunities for innovation. Lesser the approaches, you are stuck in correction business and not creation business.
Thank you.
That is the difference between user experience design and let's say design thinking.